I don't know what's going on, but the word is Drake has officially canceled his Australian remaining dates in his Australian tour. That was a weird way to say it. Due to a scheduling conflict. Now, this comes here courtesy of Rolling Stone.
I just kind of woke up one day like, yo, this is my time. This is my this is my thing. I run this, nobody can really talk to me.
A song so viral, it's echoing through stadiums and award shows and sparking jokes at the Oscars. But behind the catchy lyrics and chart-topping numbers, there's a story of legal battles, shifting loyalties, and a cultural shift that's redefining hip-hop. Are you ready to dive in? The spotlight can be a cruel mistress, and for one artist, it's recently felt more like a spotlight aimed at a public execution. It began with the Grammys, where a certain track not only dominated the awards, but seemed to rewrite history.
She's a top shelf lady, top shelf kind of gal, man.
Wait, so she knows all the two letter words?
Oh yeah, no, triple word score.
Do you know za is a word?
I know now, obviously.
Z-A, yeah.
You guys gotta get a game.
Leaving a trail of stunned silence and disbelief. Then came the Super Bowl, a stage meant for legends, turned into a symbolic slaughter, as the performance became a glaring reminder of a battle lost. But the hits kept coming. Saturday Night Live, the bastion of comedy, joined the fray, turning a cultural moment into a punchline. And finally, the Oscars, the grandest stage of them all, where a comedian's joke echoed the sentiments of millions. A swift, sharp jab that solidified a narrative already spinning out of control.
My mother, I think I get the words from my mother. I mean, she was an English teacher. She taught kindergarten to grade 5, and just one of the most intelligent people I've ever met.
It wasn't just a bad month. It was a cascade of public moments, each one a nail in the coffin of a once unassailable image. But how did we get here? How did an artist, once the king of the charts, become the subject of relentless ridicule across every major platform? The answer lies in a story of legal battles, a cultural earthquake, and a song that wouldn't die. When the battle moved from the studio to the courtroom, things took an even darker turn. Frustrated and feeling cornered, Drake launched a legal offensive, targeting the very institutions that had once propelled him to stardom. His primary target? Universal Music Group, his own record label.
Well, I think it was also because I made that a part of the show that was unpredictable. So at the time, I was legit, sometimes I would, do the first few bars and then switch it.
The accusation was explosive, that UMG had not only allowed, but actively promoted, a track that painted him in a dangerously negative light. He claimed they had put his life, career, and reputation at risk, all for the sake of profit. But UMG wasn't the only one in the crosshairs. Spotify and iHeartMedia were also dragged into the fray, accused of manipulating streams and airplay to amplify the controversial track's reach. Drake's legal team demanded internal documents, seeking to expose what they believed was a calculated campaign to discredit him. The lawsuits painted a picture of a desperate artist, fighting against a system he felt had betrayed him. But were these legal moves a strategic masterstroke, or a desperate gamble that would only fuel the fire? The answer, as it turned out, would be far more complicated than anyone expected, with each legal maneuver adding fuel to the already raging inferno. Let's be clear, Not Like Us wasn't just a song, it was a cultural earthquake. It wasn't just topping charts, it was redefining them. The track became an anthem, echoing through stadiums, parties, and even school buses. It was a phenomenon that transcended the usual boundaries of a hit record. But what made it so powerful? Was it the infectious beat? The controversial lyrics? Or was it the way it tapped into a collective sentiment? A feeling that resonated with millions? The song's impact went far beyond mere streaming numbers. It became a cultural touchstone, a symbol of a shift in the hip-hop landscape. And it wasn't just popular, it was inescapable. Award shows, sporting events, even casual conversations. Not Like Us was everywhere. It was a track that seemed to have a life of its own, growing stronger with each passing day. The question wasn't just whether it was a hit, but whether it was a harbinger of a new era.
Or I would genuinely just freestyle with the auto-tune, so I think people started being like, oh, what's gonna be said tonight?
And as the song continued to dominate, one thing became clear. This wasn't just a moment, it was a movement. In the midst of this chaos, one figure stood out, a self-proclaimed hip-hop journalist whose opinions seemed to shift with the wind. Academics. Initially, he was a voice of reason, questioning Drake's legal moves and calling them a potential PR disaster. But as the narrative evolved, so did Academic's stance. He went from skeptic to staunch defender, crafting increasingly elaborate justifications for Drake's actions. What was once deemed a terrible move was now hailed as a strategic necessity. But it wasn't just his changing opinions that raised eyebrows. Academic's rhetoric took a dark turn, suggesting that Drake would be justified in resorting to extreme measures against his rival. He even went as far as to imply that lethal action would be understandable, a statement that sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community. The hypocrisy was glaring. When a comedian made a joke about Drake, Academics called for outrage, but when another comedian made a far more provocative joke about Drake's rival, he dismissed it. This wasn't just about defending an artist. It was about pushing a narrative, regardless of the consequences. And as Academic's statements grew more extreme, one question lingered. Was he a voice of reason or a mouthpiece for a desperate agenda? While the legal battles and public image took center stage, another narrative quietly unfolded. Drake's increasingly visible promotion of online gambling. Social media posts showcasing massive bets and sponsored spins painted a picture of an artist deeply entrenched in the world of high-stakes gambling. This wasn't just a casual endorsement, it was a full-blown promotion, raising questions about the influence on his fan base, especially younger listeners. But as Drake's online presence became a virtual casino.
Yeah, it's a shame if you don't notice the shift in energy around you. I mean, you can't be oblivious to what's going on around you.
The charts told a different story. Kendrick Lamar's GNX album, released months prior, continued to defy expectations, consistently outperforming Drake's newer releases. The numbers didn't lie. Kendrick's streams were surging, his monthly listeners dwarfing those of his rival. Even with Spotify's adjustments to remove bot-generated streams, Kendrick's numbers remained untouched, silencing any accusations of artificial inflation. The contrast was stark. While Drake's focus seemed divided between legal battles and gambling ventures, Kendrick's music was dominating the airwaves. This wasn't just a minor victory. It was a decisive shift in the hip-hop landscape, a testament to the enduring power of music that resonated with authenticity and substance. And as the charts continued to reflect this shift, one question lingered. Was this a temporary surge, or a sign of a deeper, more lasting change? The tension wasn't confined to the music industry. Comedians, those cultural barometers, found themselves caught in the crossfire. Conan O'Brien's Oscar joke, referencing Kendrick's track and Drake's legal inclinations, ignited a firestorm. While some saw it as a harmless jab, others perceived it as a calculated attack, a continuation of the perceived industry-wide clowning. The fear of legal reprisal hung heavy, a testament to Drake's litigious reputation. But Conan wasn't alone. Andrew Schultz, known for his provocative humor, also found himself embroiled in controversy. His jokes about Kendrick, particularly those referencing his physical stature and a hypothetical prison scenario, were met with fierce backlash. Yet, the reactions were starkly different. While Conan's joke was met with threats of lawsuits, Schultz's was largely defended by Drake supporters.
I just kind of woke up one day yo, this is my time. This is my this is my thing. I run this, nobody can really talk to me. I'm good at what I do.
The hypocrisy was palpable. What was deemed too woke when directed at Drake was now considered fair game when aimed at his rival. The lines between comedy and controversy blurred, revealing a deeper divide within the culture. The comedian's experiences underscored the delicate balance between humor and offense, and how easily a joke could ignite a cultural war. And as the comedians navigated this minefield, one question echoed. Where did the line between entertainment and personal vendetta truly lie? Let's dive into the cold, hard numbers, the metrics that paint a clearer picture than any opinion or speculation. The streaming platforms became a battleground, a digital arena where the two artists' legacies were being measured in real time. Kendrick Lamar emerged as a dominant force, consistently shattering records and setting new benchmarks. His GNX album, months after its release, continued to amass staggering streaming figures, outperforming Drake's latest offerings. The data revealed a stark contrast. Kendrick's older albums, like Damn and Good Kid, Mad City, were consistently drawing millions of daily streams, while Drake's newer projects struggled to maintain momentum. The monthly listener counts told a similar story, with Kendrick surging ahead, leaving a significant gap between him and his rival. Even after Spotify's purge of bot-generated streams, Kendrick's numbers remained unaffected, validating the organic nature of his success. The Billboard charts echoed this trend, with Drake's new album experiencing significant drops, while Kendrick's older releases held steady.
We were watching it on the iPad, the pre-telecast, and it kept cutting out. And then it just cut right back on for the moment where they're like, and best rap album goes, and they said Take Care, and I almost was like, oh, I didn't, like, it almost didn't even sound like my album.
Not Like Us itself achieved historical feats, racking up Grammy wins and shattering streaming records. The numbers weren't just impressive, they were undeniable. They spoke of a cultural shift, a change in listener preferences, and a clear indication of which artist was resonating more deeply with the audience. And as the data continued to pour in, one truth became increasingly evident. This wasn't just a fleeting moment of popularity. It was a sustained, undeniable dominance. The legal drama, a key element of this unfolding saga, took another turn with Drake's settlement with iHeartMedia. Initially, Drake had targeted both iHeartMedia and UMG, alleging manipulation of airplay and promotion of Not Like Us. The settlement with iHeartMedia, while details remain scarce, signals a potential shift in strategy. While both sides claim satisfaction, questions linger about the terms and implications of the agreement. Was it a strategic retreat, a concession, or a calculated move to focus on the more significant battle with UMG? The ongoing lawsuit against Universal Music Group remains a central point of contention. Drake's accusations of UMG prioritizing profit over his safety and reputation paint a picture of a fractured relationship, a clash between artist and label. The demand for internal documents and the pursuit of evidence suggest a determination to expose what Drake believes is a calculated campaign against him. The outcome of this legal battle could have far-reaching consequences, not just for Drake and UMG, but for the entire music industry.
And then we just started going nuts, and we got out literally in the middle of the street, blocked cars, we all hugged. And then when I got back in the car, I realized that I had torn my suit.
It raises questions about artist rights, label responsibilities, and the delicate balance between creative expression and commercial interests. And as the legal proceedings continue, one thing remains certain. The courtroom drama is far from over, and the final verdict could reshape the landscape of hip-hop. So where does this leave us? A cultural phenomenon, a legal battleground, and a narrative that continues to unfold. The clash between Drake and Kendrick Lamar has transcended a simple rap beef, becoming a reflection of the shifting tides in the music industry. It's a story of public image, legal maneuvering, and the enduring power of a song that captured the zeitgeist. The charts tell a tale of dominance, the lawsuits hint at deeper conflicts, and the public discourse reveals a culture grappling with questions of loyalty, authenticity, and the very nature of artistic expression. Whether you see it as a calculated takedown or a natural evolution, one thing is undeniable. This moment has left an indelible mark on hip-hop. And as the story continues to unfold, we're left to wonder, what will be the lasting legacy of this unprecedented clash? Will it lead to a new era of transparency and accountability? Or will it serve as a cautionary tale, a reminder of the high stakes and unpredictable nature of fame and fortune? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure, the world is watching, waiting to see what happens next.